You see a lot of videos on it now comparing this Tanstack Start to platforms like Next and platforms like Remix. So that's kind of where you can place it. The main power of it really is Tanstack Router. It's Tanstack Router kind of pumped up to allow you to create full stack applications. Interesting approach to server functions, has a nice way of does validation, can do server-side rendering, and like I said, all the stuff you find in your other platforms. With this solution, what we're going to do is we're going to integrate Supabase. I believe most of us know what Supabase is. Supabase is an open source Firebase alternative. So it has all the good stuff you want. Authentication, APIs, edge functions, subscription, storage, vector embeddings. What we're going to focus on really is just the authentication. We're going to show just saving some records to the Postgres database and then also integrating with the bucket to save some files. Storage. Like most of my videos, there is actually a project behind all this. I will include the link. It is called Tanstack Start Supabase Auth. It is in my GitHub repo and it is public. So feel free to either pause and download this now so you can kind of go through this as we're stepping through the code, or you can just download it later and use it as a baseline for your own project. As usual, please make sure you like, subscribe, share with your friends. Always happy to hear comments and suggestions on new content I can create. All right, let's get to the code. All right, before we get to the code, let's quickly walk through the app so you can kind of have some context of what all the code is doing. So we have kind of this home page where you can log in or sign up. We're going to log in with the existing user that I have, Aaron at clearlyinnovative.com. You sign into the application. It makes a call to Supabase and pulls a list of objects that I call things. You can add a thing. Added for video, description. Also, you can associate a file with it. And then you can add that thing to the database. And then if you scroll down, you can see here I added that thing to the database. I can view it. This is added. And then since I'm not limiting it to images, you can upload kind of any blob that you want to. What I do is when you click show file, I generate a link for you to download the file. You can download the file. And then you can see the file that I downloaded. So that's what I do. That's the code that you can get to kind of start your new project. Let's just go back. You can also log out. Let's see if the signup's working. So Aaron plus new. No, I want to create an account. So Aaron plus new password, Aaron new. So I haven't implemented row level security or anything like that so that it's only showing your documents. It's basically showing all the documents. That's something else that you can kind of do on your own. All right, so that's basically what the app does. Now let's look at the code. A couple of things to know before I hop into this. In the README, you can see that I've included the SQL scripts that I had to run in Supabase to get everything set up my table, set up the policies on my table, set up my bucket, and to set the policies on the bucket. Put this here so that you can use it to set up your own project. And also just so that you know, I've implemented this by running Supabase locally. I'll include a link below on how to run Supabase locally. But for me, it's just a lot cleaner. I don't have to keep setting up projects and dealing with all that stuff. I can just create a Docker image and get it up and running and using Supabase locally, and then just wipe it when I want to wipe it. So that's what I'm doing. All right, now let's get to the code. I have a couple of other videos on just the basic setup of Tanstack Start, so I'm not really going to go over how I got the project set up. Like I said, there's other videos on my channel that cover that. I'm just going to start to walk you through the files that I use to make this project work. So the first thing that you should know is that, and let me hop to some code so you can see it. So this project follows a pattern of using the Supabase SSR Client or Supabase SSR library. So it's using this library called Supabase SSR. All right, so the basic concept of the Supabase, using the Supabase SSR, this kind of shows you how to get it all set up. There are different clients, and we are doing everything using a server-side client. This is the basic pattern to create the server client. I've wrapped it into this function here, so then I can get access to it everywhere else I need into the application. So this gets me a server client, basically meaning all the API calls, everything's being done on the server side. This gets using a Supabase server client, I get a session of the active user. So that's what those helpers are. And everything kind of generates around getting this Supabase client. All right, so since you know everything is based on a Supabase client, let's move on from here. All right, let's start at the top and kind of just go through the files that are needed that are specific to this application. I'm not going to touch on files that are not being used in this application. There are some files that are base files that are required by Tanstack Start, and like I said, that's covered in other videos around setting up your project. Okay, the main flow of the application, of course, comes through routes. We have our route, our root route, which is pretty straightforward. No major changes here, except here in the before load of the route, I call this function fetch session user. It's to determine if there's a user, and if there's a user, I put it in the context of Tanstack Start. And so you can see this fetch user. I guess we're into our server functions already. All right, so my fetch user is a server function. Server functions are created with this call. To create a server function, you specify a method, and then you specify a handler. You can also specify a validator. For this get, there is no validator. So we just have this handler, and it returns a type of user and a type of error. I make this get safe session call. We get a Supabase server client. We get the current auth session, and then we return the auth session. Data. If there's no session, we return null. We pass an error back. Otherwise, we get the user based on that session, and we return the user object. If I have an error getting the user, then once again, I return my error message. Otherwise, I return my session that I got up here, and then I return my user, and I return no error. So now this function returns as my session response. If I have no value, then I'm just returning error, no session found, and that will redirect the user back to kind of the initial page, as opposed to taking them straight into where they can query data. So how did we get here? We got here from the root. So this basically is kind of like check and see if I have a session before I start up the app so I know how to behave appropriately. And we're doing that, but basically if I get a user back, then I know I'm good. So that's the change there. And then the first page that we're going to hit, of course, would be the index page. What we do here on this index page is, once again, we check for the user in this before load. I keep going back and forth. I probably don't need to do this because the user is probably already in my context, but I have it here. If I have a user, then I redirect to the home page. Otherwise, I display this login page, or kind of this like home page where you can either log in or sign up. So if I do have a user, I redirect to home, and that's where the database queries are made, because I know I have a user object. Otherwise, I just leave you on this kind of home or landing page where you can log in or sign up. And that was the page that we saw before. That is this page. All right, so that's the index page. So if you're on this index page and you click the login or sign up, you end up on this login route. So let's take a look at the login route. This is the login route. Nothing really happening here other than the route has this component, and the component just wraps this login component. Let's take a look at the login component. We'll start off with the UI. There is nothing magical here in this UI. This is all just regular React code. This action determines what action to take, whether we take a sign-in action or a create account action. So let's look at this on action button change. So on the action button change is just setting which action we're going to execute. And then let's look at my toggle button action. This toggle button action is basically moving me back and forth between these two pages. And then the main button that matters is this button here, which is a submit, and it knows the actions that's associated. We have set the action in the page. So on submit, we're going to call our submit action based on the form. So we scroll up to the top, look at our form, and on submit, it uses whatever action set, and then it determines, do I call the sign-in action or the sign-up action? We'll just cover the sign-in action. The sign-up action is similar, except it's just calling a different Supabase function. So on the handle sign-in, we get our event information. From the event, we pull out our form data, we turn our form data into an object, and then we call our login function. Our login function gets passed data, email, and the password based on our response. If I get a user, we navigate home. If I get an error, I send my error message and I don't go anywhere. The interesting thing here, what we really want to focus on, is kind of this login function. This login function is a server function in Tanstack. So let's take a look at it. So taking a look at our server function follows a similar pattern to a server function that I showed you earlier, except you can see this time we've changed the method to post. Also, this time it has a validator built in, not built in, but we've added a validator to this. So it's basically checking that I have an email and a password. So you can validate the content that's getting passed into the server function kind of in this separate handler. If it's successful, then you just return the values that you want. And then inside of my context that gets passed in on this data object, I have the values that I need. I need the email and password. Already showed you how to get the Supabase client. Once I have the Supabase client, I'm just calling the regular Supabase functions that we all know and love. I get the results. Based on the results, here I'm constructing a user object that has the user information and also the session and session token information. I'm not doing any token refresh stuff here. I'm just doing the basics. This is what we do. If there was an error, I'm going to return the error message, and I'm going to return, if there was an error, I will be returning the error message and setting the user to null. If the data was successful and I got a user back, then I'm returning that user object here. And that's the end of my server function. So let's go back to my login. So now my login function has returned my value. I check my value, I redirect to the right place. That is pretty much how a server function works. And that's really was the focus of what I wanted to cover in this video. Let's take a look at, well, let's talk about how we're handling this auth route. So if we look inside of auth, so what happens if you have this directory called auth, and then you have a file with that exact same name, what will happen is that this file, since it's like a guard, this file will get called before any file inside of this directory can be accessed. So inside of my auth.tsx, let's click on this and let's scroll down and see what's going on in here. So I put a nice comment in here that kind of explains. So any route that requires authentication, I've put inside of this folder. This file will be called first. You can see in the before load, the first thing it checks is it sees, do I have a user in the context or not? If I don't have a user in the context, then redirect back to the home page so that they can be logged in. That's pretty much all this thing does. Otherwise, it's going to go through and call the route that you were looking for inside of this auth directory. So let's look at the home route. Once again, like I said, we're just focusing on the implementation of the server functions here. So let's go up to the loader, because that's usually where we're going to get a lot of activity from these server functions. This is how we created our route. I've imported the specific functions that I need. I need to check my session user, ability to fetch things from my database, and ability to delete things from my database. I've extracted the loader out into a separate function as opposed to an anonymous function. So you can see here, I create my route, I assign the component that this route supports, and I have this auth homepage loader, which is this function here below. We follow the same pattern. We fetch the session user, we get our response. If I don't have a user, redirect. Otherwise, I fetch things. So this is my database query. This is also a server function. So let's take a quick look at this. Follows the same pattern as before. Once again, you can see here, not doing any validation, I'm just doing a get. We're not doing any special selects here. So we're just calling Supabase, querying my things collection, and returning the values. Once again, once you figure out the magic of how to get your Supabase client and how to handle auth, which we already covered, this is just regular Supabase. You get your Supabase client, you make your calls, you return the results. That's why I'm not really going to spend a lot of time going too deep into all of these. If we look at the rest of these server functions, you can see they all are basically the same. we have a server function, we validate data that is passed in. This is an example of passing in form data. We validate the data that's passed in, return the values, the handler pulls the values out. So it's pulling out the title, description, the file. What is this server function? This server function, it's adding the new thing. So just a refresher, when adding a new thing, you add the title, you add the description, and you pass in a file object, right? So here at the top, we have our server function, add a new thing. We're passing in this form. We're validating the form data. We're getting the values that we want. And then here, the first thing we do is, if we have a file object, like I said, these are same old Supabase functions. We're using a Supabase storage function. We're getting our bucket, and we're uploading this file to our bucket. And then the next thing we're saving this record into things, the values that we got the title and description we're passing from the front end. And then if there was actually a file, then we're passing in the file name, the ID, and the path so that it can be retrieved later. Same pattern for most of these server functions. I covered at a high level what they do and how they work. Hopefully that was good enough to get you going. I have a couple of other videos on Tanstack Start that you could also look at for reference. Hopefully you found this helpful. Please make sure to like, subscribe. Talk to you later. Bye.